The Republican National Convention beginning on the heels of that shocking assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump. What it all means for the race to the White House now on Kraft's Grievances. The show must go on. That's the message from Donald Trump following his survival of an assassination attempt Saturday. The former president now promising to announce his running mate tonight, the first evening of the Republican National Convention. Trump also saying he has rewritten his acceptance speech for the nomination to focus on trying to, quote, unite our country. Of course, only time will tell whether the twice impeached former president, who inspired a mob of his supporters to attack the U.S. Capitol after losing the 2020 presidential election, can really change his tune. Trump is notorious for mercilessly pounding his opponents into oblivion and straight up lying about his adversaries. But irrespective of whether Trump is capable of turning down his rhetoric and not falsely blaming the left for his brush with death, the despicable, cowardly attempted assassination of Trump will undoubtedly engender goodwill. Trump's supporters are no doubt galvanized by the attack. But more importantly, anti-Trump Republicans and at least some undecided voters who had all but ridden Trump off for a vast variety of reasons will now likely rally behind Trump, seeing him as a vessel for their beliefs and way of life under attack by the left. The horrific attack on Trump also undoubtedly playing into his narrative that the U.S. is in a state of chaos and only an aspiring dictator can make America great again. However, that being said, I have faith that the majority of Americans are clear-eyed about Trump and will not vote for him again this November. The former president unquestionably is a terrible, terrible man. You would not trust him with your lunch money, not to mention your children. He is a convicted felon, 34 times over, adjudicated sexual abuser, and business fraudster. He only cares about himself and will lie, cheat, and steal in order to get what he wants and stay in power. But none of that awfulness justifies political violence. The only way to defeat Trump and his MAGA movement is at the ballot box. We cannot let fear so overwhelm us that we abandon democracy. And that is why on Friday's episode of Grievances, before the attempt on Trump's life, I called out Democrats for trying to curtail democracy by pushing President Biden off the Democratic ticket after Democratic primary voters chose Biden to be their nominee. Of course, nothing compares in severity and seriousness to an assassination attempt, but in a democracy, we have to respect the will of the voters. As you may know, I worked for Mike Bloomberg during the 2016 Democratic presidential primary. Joe Biden was not my first choice for president. But I respect Democratic primary voters who chose Biden to be the party's nominee in 2016 and who again chose Biden to be the party's nominee this year. We cannot give up on democracy. That is what has allowed the United States of America to not only thrive for nearly 250 years, but become the most powerful nation on earth. And only one candidate on the ballot this November is unabashedly pro-democracy. From his first day in office and every day since, President Biden has focused on restoring the rule of law and strengthening our democratic republic.
Tonight, I want to speak to what we do know. A former president was shot, an American citizen killed, while simply exercising his freedom to support the candidate of his choosing. We must not go down this road in America. We've traveled before throughout our history. Violence has never been the answer. Whether it's with members of Congress of both parties being targeted and shot, or a violent mob attacking the Capitol on January 6th, or a brutal attack on the spouse of former Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, or information and intimidation on election officials, or the kidnapping plot against the sitting governor, or an attempted assassination on Donald Trump. There is no place in America for this kind of violence, for any violence ever. Period. No exceptions. We can't allow this violence to be normalized. Look, let's never lose sight of who we are. Let's remember we are the United States of America. There is nothing beyond our capacity when we do it together. God bless you all. May God protect our troops.
That was President Biden last night, once again calling for more unity despite our disagreements, and saying politics must never be a literal battlefield. Meanwhile, Trump promises to pardon those who attacked the Capitol on January 6th and has invited the likes of Tucker Carlson and Congressman Matt Gaetz to speak at the RNC this week. Despite the terrible events this past weekend, this fall the choice could not be clearer. President Biden stands for democracy, unity, and freedom, while Trump stands for autocracy, division, and repression. Make sure you vote. Thank you for watching Grasp Grievances. Let me know what you think. Please like, subscribe, share, and join me in the next one.